What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with DFS, bringing you a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going over some cash plays for Week 12's Sunday main slate. Now, these are guys that you want to play in double ups, 50-50s, and head-to-heads. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, by the end of it, just please leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Now, let's get into it. So, at quarterback this week, there are quite a few plays, in my opinion. Overall, this week, I think this is going to be a very fun Week 12. It's going to be interesting to see what value plays actually end up paying off because there's quite a bit. For quarterbacks, Lamar, 8,000 against Jacksonville, paying up. That's probably one of the safer pay-ups. Patrick Mahomes against the Rams, we've seen what he did in his history against the Rams. Obviously, the Rams are not what they are. A lot of injuries, underperforming, all that stuff. Lamar is that guy there. Justin Herbert against Arizona. Obviously, doesn't have Mike Williams, but he has Keenan Allen back. Another week of being healthy. And Palmer, Carter, Everett, Eckler. A lot of weapons there, and Arizona's defense has been very, very underperforming. Tua against Houston. Right below him, $100. Houston really banged up, even though their pass defense has been better. Miami is a 14-point favorite. Tua being the quarterback of that team is kind of what you want there. Kyler Murray, 6,800. So 3 quarterbacks in $200 from each other, all in play here. Kyler gets Marquise Brown today. Obviously, he's without Dortch. He's without Rondale Moore. But I think having Marquise Brown is going to be huge. They said he's on a pitch count, but they're kind of in a win. They have to win. So I don't know what that entails for Marquise Brown being on a pitch count. But Kyler Murray, another play at 6,800 for me. Joe Burrow, 6,700 against Tennessee. I'd probably rather pay up for one of these quarterbacks, but Joe Burrow is definitely in play. And then Geno Smith at 6K against Vegas. I never thought I'd say Geno Smith as a cash play, but he's just put up some really good fantasy numbers. Throws the ball a lot, throws the ball accurate, and hits his big name receiver. So Geno Smith, another play that I'm targeting. And as far as tournaments, really quick, before I get into running backs and stuff like that, there's so many tournament plays this week. Like under, let's say, 5,300, you get Taylor Heineke against Atlanta. You keep going down. You get Sam Darnold at 4,900, even though it is against Denver. Perkins, 5,000. Mike White, 4,900. Trevor Siemian, more than likely going to be the starter tonight, 4,900. Kyle Allen, 4,800. Like, there's a lot of tournament plays for quarterbacks. Now, running backs, Austin Eckler at 8,500 is the running back I would pay up for if you're paying up for a running back. Christian McCaffrey's there too, but Eckler just a better matchup overall for me. And then Ken Walker, 6,900. He's probably, if I am personally paying up for a running back, Ken Walker's at max. Just a really good matchup here against Vegas. James Conner, 6,600. Really good matchup against the Chargers. Their run defense has been terrible. And like I said, with some injuries to Dortch, Rondale Moore, and if they end up putting Marquise Brown on a pitch count and he's not on the field a lot, James Conner is a guy that gets a lot of volume out of the running back position. And then we get into the huge, these guys are going to be owned plays. Jeff Wilson, 5,900 against Houston. Houston, the worst team against the run. Jeff Wilson, pretty much the lone back there as far as guys that are going to get volume. Obviously, they're going to get other people involved. But with Raheem Mostert almost out, Jeff Wilson is a huge play today. Samaj P. Ryan, 5,600 against Tennessee. Although we haven't seen P. Ryan play like elite. He did get a 3-touchdown game. Put up 30 fantasy points in his last week against Pittsburgh. So that is definitely something to watch out for. Isaiah Pacheco, 5,500 against the Rams. It is a rough matchup, but it is pretty much going to be him and McKinnon today, and this is a huge opportunity for him. I wouldn't really go with him like P. Ryan, Wilson. We keep going down. Rashard White, 5,100. Latavius Murray, 5,000. I'd avoid those guys. He is on my watch, though. Checo's definitely on my watch, but yeah, Rashard White against Cleveland and Latavius Murray against Carolina. Like, these two guys in very good spots here. Latavius Murray against Carolina, I think if you're looking for leverage, Rashard White's going to be owned way higher than Latavius Murray, in my opinion. Latavius Murray is a good cash leverage play. As far as anything else, Cam Akers down here against Kansas City. You don't know what's going to happen between Kyron Williams and Cam Akers, but one of those guys are in line to get the starting position, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially with Matt Stafford out. Now we go to wide receiver. Tyreek Hill against Houston, 8,800. Paying down at running back this week, which we haven't had a whole lot of this year, allows you to pay up for wide receivers and tight ends. So Tyreek Hill against Houston, good matchup. Probably the guy that I would pay up for between Adams and Hill. Now DeAndre Hopkins at 7,700 though, a little discount off of Tyreek Hill, and hopefully going to be a closer game. I really hope that the Cardinals-Chargers is a good classic game. So DeAndre Hopkins, good matchup, 7,700 there. Jalen Waddle, if you want to pay down off Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle's down there at 7,300. But I go to T. Higgins here at 6,900 against Tennessee. Tennessee's not been the greatest against pass. They're very banged up. Their offense is pretty much managed games quite a bit and quite well. So T. Higgins at 6,900, a really good spot there for me. And then Christian Kirk, 6,500 against Baltimore. Baltimore's secondary is getting healthy, and it's really hard to get a huge judgment off of them. But Christian Kirk has a very good matchup at 6,500. Amari Cooper, 6,400. Tampa Bay is past the ball. They just can't finish scoring. They drive down the field. Amari Cooper it is a run it back piece for me at 6,400. Keenan Allen down here at 6,100. Chris Godwin at 6,000. Said Keenan Allen, this is the cheapest that we could ever hope Keenan Allen is at. Like last week, he's 5,400. He puts up 13.4. Now he's 6,100. So he goes up $700. A very good matchup against Arizona today. I already know off the bat no Mike Williams, so definitely play there. And then Terry McLaurin, 5,800 against Atlanta. Terry McLaurin has been a very efficient wide receiver for some of the matchups he's had against Philly, against Minnesota, against the Colts, against Green Bay. Like, putting up good numbers. Now he gets a more favorable matchup here at 5,800, and he's definitely one of those guys in that mid-tier price to play in cash. I like Marquise Brown at 5,300. I think he's a good sneak play down there, especially with the pitch count, and that always scares people off because that's the last thing you want is your guy not playing. Drake London at 4,900 is a play here for me. It's not the greatest because of how much Atlanta runs the ball and how well they try to. Drake London hasn't put up crazy numbers, but Washington's secondary, I think, is very misleading. Drake London has a very good matchup today. Now we get into the values for wide receivers. Then it's Garrett Wilson, 4,300, and Treylon Burks at 4,200. Garrett Wilson going to have a quarterback who's been more efficient. We've seen last year what happened when Mike White was in, and we've seen this year when Joe Flacco was in the first few weeks of how efficient the Jets' pass offense can be. I mean, you clearly see it here. And he's got a favorable matchup against Chicago. Probably seeing, I don't know, Chicago's secondary is banged up. Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Vildor, like a lot of those guys are questionable, possibly out. So going against even worse corners there in Chicago, unfortunately, my Bears. And then Treylon Burks against the Bengals. Good running back piece. If Cincinnati's putting up points and Tennessee has to throw the ball, they're going to stay committed to the run. I know this, but it seems like Treylon Burks is taking strides to be that wide receiver in Tennessee. Last 2 weeks, 6 targets, 8 targets. Has a huge breakout game against Green Bay, 111 yards. Puts up some fantasy points. So that's my 2 values at wide receiver. And tight end, Kelsey, Andrews. Like I said, with what you could do with the running back position, you could easily pay up for Kelsey and Andrews today. I'm not really targeting Kittle, although it's that San Francisco's offense is very efficient. Saints have just been really good against tight ends this year. Everett going against the worst defense to tight ends. 4,400 is a play. Foster Moreau against Seattle. Another top 5 worst defense against tight ends. 3,400. And then Hayden Hurst against Tennessee. Another bottom team against tight ends. And Hayden Hurst being a top 3 target in Cincinnati. So down there, 3,300 is a value play. And then we go to defense, and I don't normally give out defenses, but the Chiefs defense at 2,800 should be your play today. Texans against Miami is bad. Rams against Kansas City is bad. Saints against how good the San Francisco offense has been is bad. Jaguars possibly against Baltimore. That would probably be the defense that I would go. If you, for whatever reason, don't go Chiefs. But everybody else doesn't. Just Chiefs stand out. Rams just so banged up. Allen Robinson might not be playing. So you're looking at Perkins without Cooper Kupp, without Allen Robinson. So Chiefs at 2,800 is pretty much at play. So like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys are interested in joining us, the link for our Discord will be down in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next one.